All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. A lot going on here in Berea today. Jameis Winston will be starting this Sunday. He will be at the podium momentarily. We will take that when that indeed happens, so you won't miss anything there. But, of course, the lead and the headline today is that we have a bit of a change in the structure offensively. Coach Stefanski announcing today in his press conference that he would be giving up play calling for the remainder of the season and that Ken Dorsey would do that. Do we have that sound, Kevin? I think we.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay,
bud.
Yeah, let me know when you have that. I think that have him with his own words use it if you're just tuning in would be most effective here in terms of the timing of this and the decision to do it. And we'll play Coach's full press conference a little bit later. Here is Coach with the announcement.
Are you still going to call the plays?
I'm going to have Ken call the plays this week. Moving forward, that's the plan. I've told you guys before, we have a very, very collaborative process in how we work, both during the week and on game day. So I will continue to assist Ken and the offense as we game plan, as we get into the game. But I have total confidence in Coach Dorsey and the offensive staff.
Okay, that's a big one, bud. How are you, by the way? Nice.
It is a big one. It's a monster one. We'll get to some fun and frivolity and some cool things I got to be a part of last night and shortly. But, Kevin Stefanski said it was fully his decision to do that. I know that there's probably going to be speculation, but this was a Kevin Stefanski decision to make Ken Dorsey the play caller. The timing of it, obviously, you are at the bottom of the league in basically every offensive category. That makes a lot of sense in terms of trying to change something on offense. Now, you are getting a change in your quarterback in Jameis Winston, and you're going to play against a defense that is giving up a lot of yards. So I thought this was going to be, I think it'd be silly to come up here and say, okay, this is a game the Browns are likely to win. Obviously, the line alone would tell you that they are not likely to win the game according to Vegas. And
will it make it?
There she is. But this is a game where you should have some significant statistical accumulation. I mean, no team's giving up more passing yards per game than the Baltimore Ravens at 287.1. They've already allowed 14 passing touchdowns this season, and Marlon Humphrey's banged up. His status is in the air for this weekend. So this was going to be a game where you were going to have good accumulation anyway and probably break through some of those glass ceilings that had been holding you back of late, especially most notably the 20 points in a single game. I find it's odd to me. I get it. I mean, in the sense that we are struggling, but Kevin Stefanski is two-time coach of the year, and in large part because of his ability to navigate on offense with any number of quarterbacks, and we've seen him have success with tons of quarterbacks throughout his time here this year. The one quarterback that it's been the toughest with, obviously, is Deshaun Watson, and he's out for the year now.
He's
so
no
you
longer
had
playing
kind of
quarterback.
That clean break. I honestly thought, and I've on record saying this, I thought there was a time because in the whole offseason program, or the majority of it, Ken Dorsey was the one who was on the walkie-talkie. So I thought Ken Dorsey was going to call plays immediately. And on some level, that made sense to me. Okay, you bring him in. It's going to be a new offense that you're trying to cater to your quarterback as opposed to the offense that you run. And so I thought it was going to happen then, and then if it goes well, great, and if not, then Kevin could always take it back. Now, doing this in the middle of a season like this, it's surprising to me. I mean, I think that's fair to say. I think that, you have a team that is struggling, and I think at times, there have been so many people who have called for him to give up play calling. I hope they're happy now. I don't know if they are, but he will, and so he can focus more on, some in-game stuff, and also I think more just the leadership of a team that, as we know in the NFL, when you're 1-6, there are going to be fractures in that locker room because that's the nature of this business. Winning is the great deodorant, and losing is the great, what I would call, divider or exposer of.
It exacerbates issues.
Exacerbator of the problems. Disturbers of the peace.
You mentioned something in terms of the breakdown there that I wanted to circle back on.
Sure.
And that is, so I think you get the Jameis Winston starting.
Yep.
We laid out earlier this week, like, all right, where do we go from here? Deshaun's gone. What does this look like? He's done for the year. Okay, and you'd laid out on Monday. You said, look, this sets up for Jameis for a couple of games, bye week, and then get a long look at DTR because he is the only on-roster.
Again, my plan, not not scores.
Yeah, no. This is you and I. We're flying blind on this stuff, brother.
Quite.
And so from that perspective that you laid out and makes a lot of sense to me, and probably to a great many of our audience. Okay, you don't want to put DTR back out there against Baltimore and so forth. You could have you also could have done the same thing on this change, where you could have gotten through the next 2 weeks and then made the change, and then all of a sudden it's almost like it's a new team after that. Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback on Sundays at the podium.
To do what the Lord has
You're down.
to do in the NFL, and that's be a starting NFL quarterback. So I'm beyond grateful for this, and I am prepared, and I will do my very best.
What can you do to add a spark to this offense?
Go out there one play at a time, and actions, and execute. It's simple.
Ken Dorsey, we were just told, is going to be calling the plays. Just what are your thoughts on that, and how might that change things, and what kind of relationship do you have with him and all of that?
Yeah, we've been with Ken since training camp. His voice has always been in my ear through meeting rooms, through even on the field. So I'm excited that he gets another opportunity to go out there and dial up some great plays.
Were you surprised that change was made?
At the end of the day, man, my focus is on doing whatever's required for this team to be in the best position to win football games.
The fact that you were able to come in as the third quarterback on Sunday, you were able to throw a touchdown, you got the 2-point conversion. Does that matter? Does that do anything for you going into this week playing a Ravens team that seems to be clicking on?
Well, everything matters. Everything matters. But my focus is on today, Wednesday. We will get to Sunday. We know this is a great team, but we're preparing to be our very best.
Jameis, do you view this as a chance to reestablish yourself as an NFL starter?
I view this as an opportunity to go out there and be my very best. And when I'm my very best, I'm a great NFL starter.
Jameis, what are your thoughts on Deshaun being lost for the season with his Achilles undergoing surgery on Friday? You had such a great relationship with him. You guys got so close this year. So what are your thoughts on that and him and maybe the outlook?
Yeah, I won't cease praying for him. I know the mental strain that is when you are done for a season, especially all the work that you put in for that season. But we're going to continue to lift him up throughout the year, regardless.
Jameis, what was your best year in your career?
Right now. Right now is my best year.
Why is that?
Because now is the only thing that matters.
Jameis, how much did you've been on, as a backup, kind of watching from the sideline? How much has that helped, change and benefit you as you go into this, returning to the starting?
I'm always preparing as if I am the starter, and now that I am the starter, I'm going to continue to prepare like an NFL starting quarterback.
There's been so many issues offensively, just for you watching on the sidelines and being in the room all week and that. What can you do to provide a spark to get this offense on track? The circumstances of why you're in there aside, but just what can you do to get this thing moving in the right direction?
Yeah, what I can do is be decisive, keep everything simple, and just do my job. What we can do as an offense is to be decisive, keep things simple, and do our job.
How have you evolved as a quarterback in these 10 years?
When I had the opportunity to sit behind Drew Brees and Sean Payton in 2020 during the year of COVID, then I understood the importance of the process of being an NFL quarterback. What does it take to beat this specific team? What does it take for a quarterback to make the plays that he should make and to not make the plays that he shouldn't make? So I think my involvement as a quarterback has been every year, but I believe knowing the plays not to make instead of knowing the plays that I am capable of making.
It seems you've been fond of going downfield vertically in your career. Is that something this offense has lacked to this point for whatever reason?
What's more important is our execution. We have had some good drives, sustained drives, we have to continue to build on drives and give our defense a breather, whether that's taking what the defense gives us. We all want to attack the ball down the field vertically. Like, that's explosive, that's fun football, and that's what we're trying to incorporate as offense, is get back to playing Cleveland Browns fun football.
What did Drew and Sean, the time in New Orleans, what specifically did they show you about the process?
The continuity and really knowing what does it take this week to beat this team. Every NFL game is not the same, as we all know, but there are little intricacies and processes that you have to be willing to be put in place for your approach for that game.
How do you feel like you might be a better quarterback now for this start on Sunday than you were even 2 years ago for your previous start?
Well, I'm not really I know I'm a better quarterback now because now is the opportunity that I have. 2 years ago, I don't even remember 2 years ago. I'm focused on right now.
Hey, Jameis, we talk so much about your leadership. How is that important right now, given 5-game losing streak, 1-6, play color change, everything that's going on? How can you kind of galvanize the guys around you?
By being consistent with who I am. I'm not a guy that hangs on the fence. Like, I'm going to be out in front, out in the open, and I'm going to be who I am every single day. One of my greatest traits is being authentic, and I think my teammates respect that. Nothing different is going to change besides a new quarterback.
Is it easier to use your natural leadership ability now that you are back out in front as a starter?
I believe anytime that you're able to be on the field with the guys, I put it like this in terms of military, your soldiers are going to listen to the people that are out there in the field. No matter how much the nurse or cafeteria person can encourage them, they're going to really fight for the people that are out there in the fire with them.
Jameis, you and Deshaun have some traits from a football standpoint that are similar. You have some things that are different. What changes, if anything, about the offense and maybe how they'll run things with you out there versus when Hogan's out there?
What changes is going to be a different number at quarterback.
I don't know how many games you have played in your career against the Ravens, but you've always been in different divisions than this one. What are your observations about their defense?
Well, I know that they're a tough team. Historically, they have been one of the best defenses in my era. So I know they're going to play hard. I know that they have a good secondary. One of my good friends over there, Marlon Humphrey, we're from the same area. I know that number 14, he's a great player. They have a nice veteran back end with Eddie Jackson. He's awesome. And Marcus Williams, he's awesome too. So we just got to go and do our job. It's really not about them and who they are. It's about us and who we are.
I know you said you're not thinking about 2 years ago when you made your last start, but was that experience tough for you, starting the season, getting hurt, and then not having another chance to start until now?
Well, that really doesn't matter. What matters is this opportunity that I have right now. And like I said, I'm extremely grateful and happy that I get a chance to go out there and be my very best.
James, the last time we saw you after the game, you gave your impassioned speech about what happened with the fans and Deshaun Watson after that game. So my question is, how do you feel about the relationship right now between the Browns players and the fans, and how are you going to reconcile when you go out there to play in front of
well, I feel like I made it very clear of my love and passion for these fans and how grateful we are that they are passionate fans. I just know that there's a way to do things and there's a way not to do things. And I'm not saying that every fan made that decision to act in that way. So if you are concerned about that, man, just pull up to the game and let's show up. Let's show up and show out, and whatever you feel, let it be felt. But we need you. I think it's so important when you have a storied fan base to support their team. And I know we cannot do it without you.
Jameis, you talked about having a great relationship with Ken Dorsey. What type of level of trust do you have in him now that he's taking over as the play caller?
Well, he's a world-class offensive coordinator. He's been doing this since he's been winning championships in Miami. So I know that he's going to do a heck of a job, and that's my coach. I'm fighting for him, and I'm going to do whatever's required to help lead us to a victory.
If he were to call plays upstairs like he did in Buffalo, would you lean on Stefanski as the game day quarterback coach, so to speak?
I'm going to be leaning on everyone that is willing and able to help assist us in finding a way to earn the Cleveland Browns a victory on Sunday.
James, what does it say about Kevin that he gave up the play calling, which he hadn't done in his first 4.5 years? He'd always done that.
I think Coach Stefanski has noticed what he noticed in the decision that our head coach makes. Are the decisions that we're going to live and die by. So I'm just grateful that he has the awareness to make any decision.
One more.
Jameis, I know we asked you about Nick on Sunday and how he played, but getting a chance to go out there with Nick Chubb, just knowing this injury he came out of and how he came out of that game, what's your thoughts on getting a chance to actually play with him?
Well, I mean, I'm a guy that really doesn't need too much motivation. But playing with Nick Chubb, knowing what he's overcame is very inspiring. And what he means to this city and to this football team, I'm going to go out there and give my best for him to excel and be who he is.
Appreciate it,
All right, thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right, there you go, Jameis Winston at the podium. He is your starting quarterback for Sunday when Baltimore comes to town. That is not the headline, the lead of the day. The lead of the day is something that was talked about a lot in that availability, and that is Kevin Stefanski giving up play calling. It will be Ken Dorsey calling the plays, and we will have the full press conference for you coming up at 2 o'clock. But we played that bite from Kevin from earlier. We discussed it, that was the plan, and for the foreseeable future, I believe were the words he used at that point, that this would be Ken Dorsey calling the shots from here on offensively.
Yeah, and I mean, not much more to say, right? Here we go. I think that if you look at the quarterbacks available to Ken Dorsey, Jameis Winston, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who doesn't need surgery on that finger, and again, I think that he will get an opportunity to start a significant number of games over the second half of the season. You think about what DTR ran in college with Chip Kelly, and it was just even evident in the game. Although his final numbers were not great, and one of those interceptions certainly not his fault. The other one, you wonder if his finger played a role on that.
Yeah,
but he was so much more comfortable in the RPO and the read option game than what we had seen with Deshaun.
Yes.
I mean, you saw the pull it and run. You saw him hand. You saw him pull it and hit the pop pass. So it was. I think it will be better. Look. Jameis is going to put up numbers. You don't throw for 5,109 yards in an NFL season if you can't play the game. He did that in 2019, led the league that year, threw for over 30 touchdowns, but also over 30 picks. Jameis Winston, it's going to be best case scenario. I think it's going to be similar to Flacco, 300-yard games, touchdowns, and a couple of pick sixes. He leads the league in interceptions since he's come into the league, 99, and the people that are even in near him have all played 50 more games than him. So it's going to be some of that feast and famine. And that's fine because I think the biggest gripe with anybody, and I would imagine even the previous play caller, Kevin Stefanski, was, hey, we dialed some stuff up here that was open down the field and it was not thrown. With Jameis Winston, it'll get thrown.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yes. Shot. I mean, just the throw last weekend to Chief in the end zone. It's a great throw. He throws it high, the only place Chief can get it. But from the back, it's like, boy, I don't even know if he's open, but he throws it.
He's not. He threw it up there.
He threw it up there, and he made a play. And that's who he was at Florida State. That's who he was with Tampa Bay. That's what he will be when he gets into the games here. You will see, with Jameis Winston, you will see every blade of grass defended. You have to, because he'll throw it anywhere. And that's part of it. So that will be different from what we've had through the first however many games of the year. The other thing, though, that I'm very curious about, and Ken will talk tomorrow. My assumption was
scheduled to.
when Deshaun went out, and even when DTR went in, and even maybe if Deshaun would have stayed healthy, that we were going to get back to a little bit of what made Kevin so great as a play caller and a two-time NFL Coach of the Year, that we were going to get back to a little bit more under center, a little bit more run game bouncing off of that, the Shanahan-Kubiak way. I don't know what this means for that. Because that's not what Ken Dorsey is.
No, I think it's going to mean we're going to run a shotgun spread offense. And some of the things that you did see, we just didn't execute them very well. I mean, we've just been a poorly executing offense. We lead the league in offensive penalties by a wide margin. We have more offensive penalties than some teams in the league have penalties, period. We are undisciplined on the offensive line at times. As you know, we have had as many pre-snap offensive line penalties as any team in the league. We have not created a lot of room in the ground game. That's the other thing, too. We were under center with Chubb, and He had averaged 2 yards carry, and by the way, he had nowhere to go. It wasn't because, Nick Chubb was just, coming back and he wasn't ready or things like that. I'm going to pull this up right now, but my guess is for Nick Chubb, his yards after contact had to be pretty close to his yards total. Yeah, he had 22 yards, 19 of them after contact. He was averaging getting 0.3 yards down the field before taking contact. You can't do that. That is not how you can't run that way. So many things have got to improve. I think this is a team that needs to just focus on, keeping the chains moving, right? And so maybe, Ken Dorsey will in 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4, maybe we'll take some just get first downs. I don't know. I think it's going to be more shotgun. I think it's going to be more RPO. I think you're going to have more kind of just traditional shotgun drop back game. Not that we haven't done that. I mean, that's what we've done. So I think it's going to look more similar to what you've seen. Maybe we'll get into some more inside zone out of the shotgun. I don't know. But Kevin Stefanski is a darn good play caller, and anybody who watches the All-22, even of this year, would say that there were multiple plays every game that were just not made, that were there to be made. And listen, I give Deshaun a lot of credit. He took a beating unlike any in the history of the NFL. Nobody's been hit more through 7 games than Deshaun Watson. He took a beating. He was starting his completion percentage the last 2 weeks. Obviously, was significantly better. I think was he 15-17 in that one. Mm-hmm. So you saw some signs. You didn't hit the balls down the field that you wanted to, and that's been a problem since he's come to the Browns was his downfield passing. But hopefully Jameis will give you that. So there were things there that you can operate. So I guess it's now because I don't think we were running Kevin. I mean, I know we weren't. That wasn't the pure Kevin Stefanski offense. I mean, everybody with eyes would know that. So the question becomes now, is it just as simple of, okay, well, maybe, Ken has a better feel for sequencing his stuff than perhaps Kevin did. Kevin was great at sequencing his stuff, as we saw last year, masterful at it, quite frankly. And maybe that's where we are. I don't know. I will say there is something about the Shanahan, Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, Matt Stafford, or Sean McVay offenses, that if you don't have somebody who can run that offense, it can break down pretty quickly. I mean, you're seeing a Miami team right now that was completely incompetent throwing the football with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, which should be impossible.
It requires incredibly quick processors.
Processors who read the one thing they're supposed to read and then deliver the football on time and accurately.
Discipline and quick processing. If you do that, you don't have to have elite athleticism, arm traits, nothing. You don't need any of that. But you have to be able to process quickly, and you have to be able to see what you need to see and do the appropriate reaction to what you see. That's the requirement.
That's why the one thing that surprises me the most about, if I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine with the Browns 2014, it felt like Teddy Bridgewater would have been the perfect Shanahan quarterback coming out of college. Process quickly, didn't have a strongest arm, but very accurate, all of that. And we had every opportunity to have him here, and we did not get him. And it's just like, it's one of those, it's like,
I love it. I love that.
It's true.
It just felt like a June topic. That felt like June.
No. Well, we're talking
Bridgewater.
about it right
no,
now.
It makes perfect sense. Of all of the names I thought I was going to get today, Teddy Bridgewater was not the one. But yes, he would have been. He would have been a perfect processor, and that speaks into what we're talking about with Kevin's offense is you have to have those characteristics to be able to do it.
Well, right, and even in Kyle, who thought that he could coax that out of Trey Lance and gave up 3 ones to do it, could not, but was able to get that out of Jimmy Garoppolo, who without him looked lost in Las Vegas. He was able to get it out of, obviously, Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think if you're running that offense, you need to have one of two things. You either need to have that processor guy, or you need to have the guy that is hard play action. I'm not going to hit everything quick, but I'm going to hit bombs like Flacco, where I'll go bombs away on you. And that's what he did when he was a Raven to us. It would be like, oh, Flacco's got 150 yards. And all of a sudden it was like, Torrey Smith. Oh, man, he's got 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, Deshaun was neither. Deshaun at this point was not the processor of that offense, and Deshaun was not the deep ball thrower, certainly, that Joe Flacco was since coming to the Cleveland Browns. He was certainly in Houston. And again, it's unfortunate. I really think if I had one kind of do-over in this thus through today with Deshaun, it was that he doesn't get hurt and after Baltimore, because you felt like maybe there was a chance that could have gotten momentum. He could play.
You're saying last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
But that's, and even coming off that Tennessee game, that was like the highest completion percentage he ever had in his career. And then injury, and then he's back, and then injury. I don't know. We're in a tough spot. We're 1-6. We're making a switch that, again, I thought was possible preseason. I didn't really see this coming in the season.
No.
And so here we are. Listen, we didn't.
Is this the first time since 2017 that Kevin hasn't called plays? He was the interim OC in Minnesota in the middle of the 17-18 season, and then he was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota in 18.
18. And was Kubiak still there?
I don't know.
I know he called plays for sure in 19 and then came here. So 19, 20, 21, at least at a minimum.
Kubiak was calling plays in 18. I forgot that he went there.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
But I think that's correct. I think that's
right. All right. But I just was thinking that obviously the entire time he's been here, and in 19 was his last season there.
Yes.
Kubiak, last Minnesota, 19, assistant head coach and offensive advisor.
So then, no, he was calling in. You're right.
So he was
18, 19.
I think it was 18, 19.
18 and 19. Yeah, because was he on the call for the Minneapolis Miracle?
Kubiak replaced Kev as the OC there in 20.
Yeah, when he went to.
Yeah.
2017, after the termination of Scott Turner, Case Keenum had his best season under there. John DeFilippo was the offensive coordinator, I want to say, in
17, 18?
In 18. Yeah, so he became the full-time – he was the interim offense coordinator in 18. He was a full-time – I had it right. So he was a full-time offense coordinator for the first time in 19.
Okay, yeah.
John DeFilippo, another –
there's another guy. He was rumored.
Another name
here
from the
many
past.
times, yeah. Yeah. So – obviously, a lot going on, just from some logistical purposes in terms of who's in, who's out, where we are with all the rest of this stuff. Pre-practice injury report, Jerome Ford, Ronnie Hickman, Jordan Hicks, Ethan Posick, Jed Wills, all not practicing today on our side of things. In terms of some logistics when it comes to the roster, Wyatt Teller designated to return to practice.
Good.
So his 21-day window to activate him off IR starts today.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready to go. And then some sad news. Naheem Hines will not be activated. The 21-day window closes, which makes you wonder if he had a setback, because otherwise why would he have opened the window?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's so sad. I remember interviewing him, a fascinating guy, very interesting, and you're rooting for him, and to think a jet ski injury ended most likely an NFL career.
Yeah, and it's also a guy that I was very curious to see how Kevin would operate him in the offense, that type of weaponry, and more even especially in special teams.
A return game.
Return game, right? But then it reminds me a lot of Goodwin, Marquise Goodwin from the previous year, where it just never, of no fault of his own.
Now, at least that one we were tantalized in the early portion.
In the off-season program, we got to see that a little bit, but then that never came to fruition because of health issues. So, it was just strange where someone that you thought was going to be a factor, and then
just real quick, Hamp the Champ asked me to say that. He's like, where was Dorsey? Dorsey was the play caller for the Buffalo Bills when they were the number one offense in the NFL with Josh Allen. I don't know. You said remind people where he was when he was successful and who his quarterback was. So there it is. That's the answer. Josh Allen. And, of course, the Buffalo Bills.
Josh has been pretty good.
Still.
For Baltimore, Ravens corner Marlon Humphrey did not suffer a major knee injury against Tampa Bay. His status for Sunday is up in the air, per Ian Rappaport. So there was a lot there. Those were your Hot Topics of the Day. Hot Topics of the Day presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. A busy day in the league. Trades happening left and right. We'll get into all of that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Are you ready to give your home the facelift it deserves at Renew Home Exteriors? They've got the deal you've been waiting for, my friends. In fact, right now, no money down, get 0% interest for 5 years on all roofing and siding jobs. Now, here's the real fun of this. Combine your roofing and siding projects, and Renew's going to take an additional 5% off. So right now, no money down, 0% interest for 5 years, and 5% off when you knock off both jobs at once. Don't wait. Upgrade your home and save big with Renew Home Exteriors. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book today. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. In addition to our news, starting quarterback name, change in play calling duties, lots of stuff circulating around the league, including this morning the trade of DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to receive Hopkins. Tennessee in exchange is going to get a conditional 5 that can become a 4 with currently undisclosed circumstances. This took a while to finalize because I think they were working out the financial part of it. I did see a report that the Kansas City Chiefs were all over Cooper Kupp, but unwilling to give up the 2 that L.A. was asking.
And L.A., I don't think, wanted to pay any of his salary like
Yeah.
people had been reporting they were willing to do. I don't think that might have been not the case. So, yeah, for them, it's a cheap one. At this point of his career, I don't know how much DeAndre Hopkins does for them. I think, people still think maybe in some ways that when they're talking about this Kansas City Chiefs offense, that it's the Kansas City Chiefs offense of yesteryear, where they're throwing. Mahomes doesn't throw for 300 yards. They're not.
It's different.
It's different. Is he going to help them? He's kind of like a wide receiver version of Travis Kelce at this point in his career, right? So we'll see. There you go.
Here's what I think. I think that he will be – they have guys that I don't know that Mahomes trusts in big spots to just catch the ball. What you need with them is, because he can buy time, you need to be able to relocate, find pockets, and catch the ball when he throws it to you because you know he's going to be accurate. That's the job.
Yep.
That's what Hopkins will be. He's not 6 for 138 and 2 touchdowns. That's not what he is. He will be a possession receiver who catches the ball when it's thrown his way because he can still do that.
I think that's very well said. Hopkins, 5-time Pro Bowler in his career, averaging 11.5 yards per catch. In 22, he averaged 11 yards a catch. Last year in Tennessee, 14.1 and 7 touchdowns. So, I think what you're looking for, he has one 1,000-yard season since 2020. What you're looking for is a little bit of what maybe you got last year, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to average 14 yards a catch, but hopefully he can give them something. He has not been a Pro Bowler since the 2020 season either.
It is so strange, I just got to say, to talk about a move like this one. And, for the last 4 years, in one way or another, we have always been in the how does this affect the AFC? So because we were in the AFC and we were in the AFC to win the AFC. And now that that's not the case, I mean, our reaction to this would have been totally different 4 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
But so much has changed, and because of what has happened in the first 7 weeks of the season, first 7 games you've played, now all of a sudden you're talking about this, and it's like, well, that's not a world we're in anymore. Like, so quickly this all flipped. It's wild to me. Now, you can get back in the world next year quickly.
Yeah.
But for this year, it's a dramatic shift.
I think it's twofold.
It's been a while since you and I have been in that.
To me, it's kind of twofold. Number one, I don't think you're right. From our perspective, we're not worried. Like, oh man, why has it got to go to the AFC? We're not really worried about that right now, given where the Browns are at 1-6. And then the other thing is, I don't think this is really that big of a deal.
No, it's not like
Mahomes
it's certainly not like Amari going to Buffalo.
No, exactly. No, Mahomes has 6 touchdowns, 8 picks, and is averaging 230 yards passing per game. We're in 2020 when he averaged 316. He averaged 284 yards or more, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. 3 of those he averaged 310 yards or more. Last year he averaged 260 yards. This year he's averaging 231 yards. He's only averaging, this is wild to me, he's got 187 attempts in 6 games. That's 31 a game. He's throwing the ball 31 times a game. He averaged in 2021, for example, he threw the ball 658 times.
Yeah.
It's a different team.
I don't think anybody on their bingo card would have had him having more interceptions than touchdowns and them being undefeated.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
That is the
of
reality.
where they are, which is pretty wild.
They're winning with a dominant, suffocating defense. They beat you up a little bit with Kareem right now, who is not even averaging 4 yards a carry, but it doesn't matter because they just they wear you down a little bit. and they win. Kareem, it's wild. That's what they do.
Yeah, and then he makes a throw when he needs to make a throw.
Yep.
To win games. It's what it is. I believe we had this, the Chargers-Cardinal games on Monday Night Football on ESPN Plus, which we were told in the advertising throughout the weekend. This was such an exceptional thing that the exclusive ESPN Plus game, well, it went exactly how we thought it would. This, though, I did not have. This is the smallest number for an NFL game I've ever seen.
Ever.
In my life. 1.8 million people. And by the way, it was on locally in Arizona and Los Angeles. I understand nobody in L.A. cares about the Chargers at all. There's probably not 50,000 people in L.A. who care about the Chargers.
Yep.
But the idea that those two combined on local television couldn't have done
5 million.
What are we doing? They
4
were
million.
on in Arizona and they were on in Southern California on local television. Like
That says to me, 0 people watched it on ESPN Plus. Here's the thing. Outside of those local markets,
I've never seen a number that low for an NFL game in my life.
It was a 9 p.m. kick.
Whatever the circumstances.
The part of the game that may have been compelling or whatever that happened before midnight was going head-to-head with what was a very fun Tampa and Baltimore game.
It was 34-10.
But then
I flipped over at 34-10. That's when I went and found it because I'm like, I wonder how this is going. I didn't
never
know who
even
was
put
calling
it up.
it.
Who called it?
Fowler. It was Fowler, Orlovsky, and Riddick. And I flipped over at 34-10. So this is cooked. Let's see if this is competitive. I wanted to watch Herbert a little bit. I like watching Kyler run around. Yeah. And that's what I saw. I saw a field goal, and I saw Kyler get the touchdown run. But it was like that's if I'm the NFL. I mean, I understand this is what the money's for, is for ESPN to try and trump up their app and all of this stuff.
Yep,
that's as big a failure as can be. 1.8 on an NFL Monday night game.
Oh my God! Yeah,
come on. That's because you're right. That tells you maybe 200,000 people watched it on
ESPN Plus.
On ESPN Plus, because you're L.A. Metro. That's 12 million. Well, how big is LA Metro? It's huge.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They have only tried these stream only games unopposed.
Right.
They've never tried one where it was opposed, or let alone that started after,
God, I nailed it. 12.5.
Well, you're a big B.
What a job.
You're
What a
huge.
job.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's what to me. That's just it.
Yeah, it is. It's still like even I would have thought 5. I knew it was going to be low. I did not have 1.8. 1.8 is
1.8. It's a catastrophic failure.
Well said. The Saints signed running back Alvin Kamara to a 2-year, $24.5 million contract extension per Mike Garafolo. $22 million fully guaranteed. I don't understand this. I thought he'd be traded.
I think it was because maybe he was saying the fans had every right to go away, and who knows? It's a reward to him. Let him finish his career as a Saint, but this is a business.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a business.
Dallas can't use him.
Listen, I will never ever forget. And I don't give conversing
he's talking
in there.
To all of his friends.
We're doing a show here, or we're trying to. I'll never forget.
I'm here, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks.
In 2017 in preseason, nothing.
Go back to your conversation.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara I'm pretty sure he was a 5th round pick.
Tennessee.
3rd round pick. And on 2017, we played them in the preseason, and I was like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
He helped me win many a fantasy championship. He is a stud. Here's a little known fact. 5-time Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
5-time Pro Bowler. How many 1,000-yard seasons rushing seasons does Alvin Kamara have in his career? And he's been in the league for 8 years.
I'm going to say 2.
0. 0 is the answer. He does have at least prior to last year, and he's on pace to go back to the good number again. Prior to last year, he had at least 1,330 yards from scrimmage every season that he's been in the league. He once led the league with 21 total touchdowns. He's got 84 touchdowns in 8 years. So he averages over 10 total touchdowns per game, and he averages over basically probably around 1,300, 1,400 total yards per season for his career.
Yeah.
Very good. This year, though, again, averaging 3.9 yards a carry. Here's his yards per carry. This is wild. First 4 years in the league, 6.1, led the league as a rookie. 4.6, 4.7, 5.0. Last 4 years, 3.7, 4.0, 3.9, 3.9. He is an excellent pass catcher, though. But that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it just seems weird that they would.
There's no reason.
There's no reason
There's
to.
no
Like,
reason
why
for
would
it.
you do $22 million on a guy, and why would he want to be in the middle of it? I mean, you love money. Money's great, but it just seems strange to do that at that time. Hassan Reddick set to return to practice today per Ian Rappaport. So that is happening. The Rams also opened the 21-day practice window for Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp is slated to return this Thursday when they play the Vikings. Nacua must be activated, of course, as we know, within the window. And the Raiders signed quarterback Desmond Ridder to their active roster and placed quarterback Aiden O'Connell on injured reserve. I tell you what, you want to draft Shedeur Sanders. Little Desmond Ridder on the reg. That'll get you there, baby.
That'll get you there.
That'll get you
Well,
there.
They have some impressive wins in the AFC North.
I cannot believe they do. I cannot believe they beat Baltimore in the fourth quarter. Baltimore's up 2 scores. That happened. In this season.
Yeah,
seems like 6 months ago, but it happened.
It did.
OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services with Cleveland Browns, will tackle any size office. The number's 216-485-2000. Visit OhioBusinessMachines.com. Coming up next, we meet the Baltimore Ravens. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake caused you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to meet the Baltimore Ravens. They are 5-2 on the season. They are atop the North. They've won their last 5 after an 0-2 start. John Harbaugh in year 17 in Baltimore. He is a Super Bowl champion. He's 165-101. The Ravens lead this series 36-14. We won the last one, 33-31 in Baltimore on November 12th. That seems like 27 years ago, quite honestly. Last time out, they beat Tampa Bay 41-31 after building a 34-10 lead. They are first in offense in the National Football League. Our guy Todd Monken over there calling the ball plays. First in rushing, 5th in passing. The defense is 23rd overall. It can be got. They are first in rushing, but dead last in the league in passing. Their turnover differential is +1. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Baltimore. Dr. Z.
Baltimore Ravens on a 5-game winning streak, as you pointed out. During that streak, they are first in the NFL in terms of record, 5-0. They are averaging 35 points a game. That's second in the NFL. They are averaging 479 yards of offense per game. That's number 1 in the NFL. They are averaging 228 yards rushing per game. That is first in the NFL. You take a look at what this team has been able to do so far this year. I'll just give you one stat that's going to make you very somber. Derrick Henry has more total touchdowns than the Browns offense. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are combining for 189.7 yards rushing per game. 189.7 yards rushing per game. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are rushing for 30 yards more per game than the Browns are passing for through 7 games this season. The Browns are at 159.6. That is the most, by the way, combined rushing yards per game by a quarterback-running back duo in NFL history. Number 2 was Robert Griffin and Alfred Morris in 2012 at 155. Again, they're at 189.7. Number 3, going the Wayback Machine, 1963, Jim Brown and quarterback Frank Ryan at 150.3 yards per game. And then Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram in 2019, 148.3. Lamar Jackson leads all quarterbacks in carries, rush yards. Oh, by the way, he also happens to lead all quarterbacks in quarterback rating. He's at 118 this season. 15 touchdowns passing, 2 interceptions on the year. A career high, 68.2% completion. Derrick Henry leading the league in carries, rushing yards, scrimmage touchdowns. He has 206 more running yards than the second-place player in the league through 7 games. His current 124.7 yards per game puts him on a 17-game pace for 2,119 yards, which would break Eric Dickerson's single-season record of 2,105 yards from 1984. He's 30. This is the second time in his career, this is crazy, that Henry has had 800 or more rushing yards and 10 or more scrimmage touchdowns through his team's first 7 games of the season. Do you know that there's only one other player who has done that twice in their career? That player is Jim Brown.
When the list is Jim Brown, it's a
good
list.
list.
It's a good
Other
list.
people who have done it, Derrick Henry twice. Derrick Henry did in 2024 and 2021. Prior to that, Priest Holmes, who we talked about on this program yesterday, 2004. Terrell Davis, who we also talked about on this program in 98. Emmitt Smith in 95. Dickerson in 93. The Rams, 211 yards rushing per game, are the most of any team since 1980. They lead the league in carries. They're averaging 6.2 yards per carry, 210.9 yards per game rushing, 72 rushing first downs. They're all first. And how about this? In the history of the National Football League, they have the largest differential between their own rushing yards and rushing yards against them. 210.9 minus 68.4. That's 142.5 yard differential in running per game. The next closest, you have to go back to 1942 for the Bears. They were at 123. And then 1936, the Lions were at 121 in terms of that differential. Lamar Jackson is likely right now, I think he wins his third MVP. It would be a second straight MVP. Why do I say that? Through 7 games in his MVP seasons, this is the most passing yards he has ever had. These are the most passing touchdowns he's ever had. It is the best touchdown to interception ratio he has ever had. It is the highest passer rating he's ever had by almost 20, and it is the second most rushing yards he's ever had through this time. He has been simply spectacular. Second in the league in yards per attempt, second in the league in touchdown to interception ratio, first in rating, obviously leads all quarterbacks in rush yards as well.
You're going through what? He's going. He's rubbing his head like, my God.
Rubbing my eyes.
Just
'cause
like,
I'm
oh, my God.
Oh, and by the way, they have Todd Monken.
But
here's the thing. Got our boy Todd Monken.
By the way, no Cadre.
No.
Jeff Schrebeck joins us Friday.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank God.
Yeah,
I can't
we
deal
do
with
it.
him. I can't deal with
Zay Flowers, their first rounder from a year ago, he is their leading receiver, 34 catches, 412 yards, and a touchdown. Rashad Bateman is on pace to have a career year, coming off of a career-high 121 yards last week against Tampa. 21-394. He's averaging 18.8 a game. He's got 3 touchdowns this season. Nelson Aguilar, only 8 catches, but he's averaging 16.8. So they are making big plays, and now they've got their tight ends healthy. Mark Andrews coming off his best game of the season, 4 for 41 and 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Likely, he on the season has 20 for 224 and 3 touchdowns. Andrews is 17 out of 22 targets, by the way, 17 catches, 227 and 3 touchdowns. Charlie Kohler's got 112 and a touchdown on only 6 catches. They've been unbelievable. Oh, Justice Hill's got 21, 215, and 2 touchdowns receiving. Just for comparison's sake, our leading receiver has 21 catches, 266 yards, and 1 touchdown receiving. That's their running back.
That's right.
It's wild, folks. This is a loaded offense. If there are any weaknesses, and there are not many, it's their right tackle, Roger Rosengarten, the second-round pick out of Washington. He's given up 3 sacks and a team-high 15 pressures, but Linderbaum, the center, is a Pro Bowler. Daniel Faalele, he is a former tackle. They've moved to guard, 6'8", 380. He's actually having a pretty good season. You replace Ben Cleveland and Andrew Voorhees. Andrew Voorhees started the weeks 1 through 3, and then they've moved him in the starting lineup. He's done a very good job. Patrick McCary has been solid, and then Ronnie Stanley hasn't even allowed a sack this year, and he's the Pro Bowler, All-Pro left tackle. They're good. How good? They've allowed 9 sacks all year, fewest in the NFL. Number 1 rushing offense, number 5 passing offense, number 1 total offense, number 1 in points per game. They get 25 first downs a game. You guessed it. That's number 1 in the league. They're number 1 in the red zone. I don't even know this is possible. So this is a great comparison. Browns are number 2 in the red zone. We've scored 8 times out of 11 trips. They're number 1 in the end zone. They've scored 22 times out of 29 trips.
Jeez. They're like a college team, honestly, statistically running it. It's like 95 Nebraska.
It's outrageous.
It's crazy. NFL teams.
We're talking about things that haven't happened since the 1940s, dude. That's a different game. That's not even.
No.
I don't even know if they had face masks.
No.
So that's who they are on offense. Defensively, it gets a little bit better, but they have stars. Matabike, last year, career high 13 sacks, Pro Bowler. He's got 2 sacks, but leads the team with 23 pressures, which for an interior lineman is amongst the top in the league. Van Noy's got 7 sacks, which he needs 3 more sacks for a career high 10. His next sack will put him over 50 for his career. They've got Oweh's got 4.5 sacks. That's 1 sack away from a career high for him. You got Roquan Smith running around with 74 tackles already, second in the NFL. The guy's a beast. Then on the back end, now Marlon Humphrey's got 4 picks already this year, but he hurt his knee. We'll see if he's able to finish this one. Their first rounder, Nate Wiggins, has been very good in coverage. He's got 7 passes defensed, 52% completions, 80.4 rating in coverage. He's not allowed a touchdown this year. They play as much dime as anybody, 29.3%. What's that mean? 3 safeties is the way they play their dime. And they go with Kyle Hamilton, Eddie Jackson, and Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams, 20 interceptions in his career. Kyle Hamilton was a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro last year. And then Eddie Jackson's a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro with 15 picks in his career, most notably with the Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. So they're good. I mean, however, they even have Yannick Ngakoue, who's got, by the way, 70 career sacks, Yannick Ngakoue. He's a situational rusher. He's got a sack on the year. Ojabo, he's got a sack. They've got a bunch of people. Statistically, they have the 4th most sacks in the league, 22. They are the best rush defense in the NFL, 68.4 yards a game, only 3.3 yards a carry, and that's partially because they're the worst pass defense, so teams are doing it through the air, 287 yards, 7.5 an attempt. They've allowed 14 touchdowns already. They're a bad third down defense. They're 27th in the league. They're a bad red zone defense, 26th in the league. So they are just outscoring people to win. That really is the bottom line. And when I say outscoring, I mean, I don't know if I can interest you in there. Browns have not scored 20 in a game. They have not scored 20 in a game. 20, 23, 28, 35, 41, 30, 41. Their last 4 games, 35, 41, 30, 41. Yeesh. And by the way, that's beating the Bills. Their last 4 games, they've beaten the Bills.
Yep.
They've beaten the Bengals.
Yep.
They beat the Commanders, who are red hot, and they beat the Bucks, who are red hot.
And they beat Dallas. It's the other one in Dallas.
Not as red hot, but
no,
yes.
but still, like they got weaponry.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Here are the Derrick Henry numbers last 5. By the way, you're listening to ESPN 850 WKNR Cleveland. 25, 151, 2 scores, 6 yards a clip. 24, 199, 8.3 yards a clip, 2 scores. 15, 92, 6 yards, 6.1 a clip, a touchdown. 24 for 132, 5.5. That's the Washington game. Still 2 more touchdowns. And then 15 for 169er against the Bucks. All right. Howard Hanna, your official real estate provider, your Cleveland Browns. Exclusive buyer agent is there to help you navigate the field, save time and money, and score that winning touchdown. A new home. Win big with the leader in real estate. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. We will head from the podium Kevin Stefanski's announcement, his thoughts leading into it and coming out of it. Coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans that are Huntington Bank feel quicker on game day with Express Access presented by Verizon. Also new this year, select concession stands will offer Express Access presented by Bud Light. Enroll for free today. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. And now we head to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. It is Coach Stefanski at the podium.
Okay, great challenge.
You're down 11 minutes.
Opponent. They're playing outstanding football. Very talented on the offense, defense, special teams. Great coaches. So we respect these guys. We have to play good offense, defense, special teams. Play sound, complementary football on Sunday. So we're starting that process right now and have to have a good week of practice. And that's where we'll start. But I'll take any questions you guys got.
Have you made a decision on your starting quarterback for Sunday?
Yeah, Jameis will start. Dorian, obviously, coming off that injury. We'll see how he looks this week, but Jameis will start.
Is just Dorian going to practice today?
He will. But I want to see him throw.
Kevin, what about Bailey Zappi and getting him in here?
Yeah, got to get him up to speed. Just getting to know him and get a smart guy in the room. So we'll see.
I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but what do you remember? I mean, you guys have seen him from...
He played against us.
22, right?
Yeah, played against us, won a football game. So no, he's smart. Obviously was in New England this offseason, so some similarities there.
And comforting to be able to turn it over to Jameis, given his experience, 80 starts.
Yeah, Jameis is a guy we've kind of talked about all offseason who works very hard at this. Like you mentioned, has a ton of experience playing this game, has seen a lot. He prepares really well, so yeah, feel good about it.
We've talked about his personality. The fact that it looks like everybody gravitates toward him, does that help when you guys are struggling the way you are?
Yeah, I think any authentic leadership is really important, and he certainly leads in his own way. It's different, but I think the guys really respect him and really respect him because of the work he puts in.
Can he be the spark like Joe Flacco was last year?
Yeah, we're kind of focused on this game, Jeff, this season. We just have to play better, and I think Jameis understands that he's got to go do his job for this football team.
Is that him, that energy, that volume, is that him from like
day
one in this building?
Yeah, he's in here early. I can confirm that, and he's got that energy right away.
So DTR ducked anything major with the finger? It's just a...
Yeah, it's he'll be able. I want to see him throw today, but no surgery required.
Naeem Hines, is he going to be activated or?
He will not. Yeah. I'll have more information later on Naeem, but won't be back this week.
Was it another tough situation for Dorian to get thrown into in the game the other day when he wasn't really even sure he was going to be the backup?
Yeah, I think all of our guys, Mary Kay, are ready to play if they're dressed on game day, and Dorian's been dressed every game and ready to go at any moment. So, yeah, he's disappointed, certainly, in some plays that I'm sure he wishes he had back, but for our backups, whether you play quarterback or offensive line or defensive line, you have to be ready to play. So, and he's ready to play, just I know he can perform better.
I know you're just trying to win one game, but have you talked at all to Jameis? I mean, his number one pick has been up and down. He gets free agency again in 5 months. Like, about this being his chance to revive his career?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit narrower scope, if you will. You really just have to focus on the job you have to do for this week. Those things take care of themselves.
How do you balance, I guess, trusting your processes and trusting what you believe in versus let's try something new to see if we can jumpstart?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying. We have to play complementary football, and we have to do that, and that's offense, defense, special teams. We've done it at times. We have to just be way more consistent in doing that because in order to beat these other teams, you can't beat yourself, and we've put ourselves in too many spots where that wasn't the case. So here we are this week. Got to go play better in all areas.
Are you still going to call the plays?
I'm going to have Ken call the plays this week. Moving forward, that's the plan. I've told you guys before, we have a very collaborative process in how we work during the week and on game day. So I will continue to assist Ken in the offense as we game plan, as we get into the game. But I have total confidence in Coach Dorsey and the offensive staff.
Why now? to make that decision?
Yeah, I'm just always looking at what we can do to just be a little bit better. And truth is, we have to be better on offense. And Coach Dorsey is somebody that I rely on very heavily, and I just feel like this is the right thing for the team.
Do you feel like in some ways when you look at what's going on special teams and other areas that you need to get a bigger picture look at everything?
I mean, that's my job, Mary Kay. I think regardless of whether I'm calling the plays or not, I think that's my job to make sure I'm having a positive impact on this football team, and I'll continue to do that.
Not playing, you're letting Dorsey call it? I thought he was brought here to help Watson.
Yeah, I don't see it that way, Tony. That's how you put it. I see Ken's a guy that I have total trust in. He does a good job with the quarterbacks, does a good job with the offense, so just felt like this is the right thing to do. Yes. Yeah, fully my decision.
For the rest of the year?
Yeah.
We go week to week?
We're all week to week, Tony.
How much do you think the offense will change with Jameis versus Deshaun?
I think what we do as coaches is we try to lean into our players' strengths, and obviously the quarterback's the number one factor there. So you want to put the quarterback in position to succeed and those type of things. So that's obviously a big conversation we have on Monday, on Tuesday, to put Jameis in the right positions.
It's been a couple of years since we've seen Jameis start a game. How would you say he's evolved as a player since then, or can you tell until you see him?
I think you have to let him go play, and then you can tell. But kind of know what his strengths are and how he plays and the concepts that he feels really good about. He's won a lot of football games. He's seen a lot of football, so we have total confidence in him.
Kevin, going back to the play caller thing, giving Ken that job on Sundays, how much does that maybe free you up to kind of oversee more of the whole picture?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously does in the sense that you're not sending plays in every 40 seconds, but that's always been part of my job to make sure that I know what's going on for the football team, the offense, the defense, the special teams. So maybe with the offense having the ball, there's more opportunities there, but that's always part of the gig.
Will he go upstairs?
We're working through that, talking through it.
What has Ken shown you throughout this whole time that you guys have been together that makes you confident about this?
Yeah, I'm very confident in Ken, and I'm very confident in our offensive staff. I feel that this is, when you're talking about playing good football and putting game plans together, it's never one person's job. It's really a collaborative effort. So I have a ton of faith in all of our coaches, and Ken calling the plays doesn't change that collaborative approach.
What led you to do that change now?
Just go ahead, Darryl.
What motivated you to make that change now?
Yeah, I kind of every single week I'm looking at things that we can do better, and we need to improve. Felt like this is the right move for right now.
That's what I was going to ask.
Do you feel like, he was incorporating spread, RPOs, some different kinds of concepts, but yet lately it looked like you guys were going back to doing some things you knew you could do well. So do you feel like you will see some more spread, RPO?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think throughout the course of a season, you're always kind of evolving and leaning into what's working and getting away from what you're not having success with. So that's an ongoing thing for us as coaches, and finding out the right concepts that fit our players. And obviously the quarterback's a big part of that.
And he's obviously used to working with a big, strapping quarterback. Does that have anything to do with the fact that he knows how to coach a guy?
I think Ken, can coach any style, truly. I know he's had some history with Josh Allen and Cam Newton, but I feel like he can coach any style.
Kevin, with the Ravens, obviously one of their big additions this offseason was Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
What has he sort of brought to the table when you watch the tape that's made their offense even more dynamic?
Yeah, the tape's really, really impressive. Obviously, they're running it well. They're throwing it well. Derrick Henry's a guy that we've played before. We know that you're in for a 60-minute affair when he's out there. He's outstanding downhill. He's outstanding on the perimeter. They're using him in a very difficult way to defend, and some of the different run schemes that they're using. So it's a huge, huge challenge for our football team.
Are you hopeful that Wyatt, when
window opening for him? Are you hopeful that you could have him Sunday, or is this going to be similar to Chubb and the other guys where they need some time to ramp?
Yeah, I'm hopeful that he makes it Sunday.
What about with Ethan and Ed and Jordan? Do you expect them to be able to practice this week?
We'll see. That's truly a day-to-day type thing. We'll see.
Andrew Berry always describes you as a great play caller and somebody that was really coming into your own in that realm. I mean, do you envision yourself as someone who would like to do that again someday?
Honestly, not my focus at all for this week. I want to do whatever is best for our football team all the time, and I just feel like this is the best thing to do.
Would you describe this as a Hail Mary?
That's blasphemous. No.
Can we see an uptick in volume for Nick Chubb this week in the second half?
Yeah, I think Nick came out of the game well, so naturally there's something that we want to grow that role, yes.
Did you feel comfortable calling all those new concepts that you were calling?
Absolutely, yeah. There's like I've told you guys many times, anything that happens good or bad at football is my responsibility, and we need to play better on offense. We need to win football games. We got to play sound football, play well on offense, defense, special teams. So that's going to always be our goal, and that's really what's driving any decision I make.
Was there any frustration from Jerry for the lack of involvement Sunday?
I think all receivers get frustrated when they don't get the ball. Jerry understands that he's a big part of our offense. He also understands that, we want to make sure that we are on game day utilizing all of our energies in a positive way.
Good. Has Deshaun had surgery?
I think it's Friday. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Coach Stefanski from the podium. Join us Sunday against the Ravens and cheer on the Browns toward a victory with our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's proud to support the Cleveland Browns through the Tito's Victory Vodka program by committing a $1,000 donation to the Cleveland Animal Protective League toward its mission to foster compassion and end animal suffering. Thank you, Tito's, sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. Coming up next, a little bit of fun. Guess the scores coming your way next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. This season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app, place your first bet of $50. You get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for a little segment we like to call Guess the Scores with Dr. Z. Time to get back on the winning ways, brother. Time to get back to the winning ways.
I feel this week I actually feel pretty good about it.
All right, here we go. Let's start.
If you're looking for a doctoral thesis, if you're a student out there, or a master's thesis, the correlation between Zagura's weeks when he does well at Guess the Scores and then the scores.
Yeah.
And when he does poorly.
I think that's fair.
Poorly.
Yeah, well, and last year I feel like I dominated this. But then again, last year it was a point. Although it wouldn't, I feel like when I've been off
it was
this
a
year,
half point. Because the first year we did a point, and then we went to a half because the point was too easy. Because everything was kind of in that zone.
But so far I've had my 3 big winning weeks, which were weeks, let's see. Why isn't it moving? Week 5 was 9-5. Week 6 was 10-4. And then I think I got it week 1, which is 9-7. So my winning weeks have all been winning weeks. My losing weeks have been 7-9, 7-9, and 7-8. So
here you go. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Thursday night, Minnesota at the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football.
Vikings -3.
Got it. We go to the 1 o'clock slate. No London game, kids. Eagles.
Sad. I really like the London game.
I don't. I forget they're on. But you're also obviously en route to a game most times.
Yeah, it was awesome
so I think
to drive to the game.
Because then you get a game.
And I listened to Hoff and Chris Rose. Yeah, it was
great. Eagles at Bengals at 1 o'clock in Cincinnati.
So this is interesting. We were talking yesterday about the whole flexing thing.
Uh-huh.
Originally, the Bengals-Eagles was a 4:25 game on CBS because we were talking about the late afternoon. We're like, why is there not better stuff? But the flex
they took
of the
Bears
Commanders changed it to 1 o'clock, and it bumped the Brown stuff off of everything in Southern Ohio on Sunday.
Wow. Eagles at Bengals. That's wild. Are we sure, by the way, Bears at Commies without Jaden Daniels is going to outrate Eagles and Bengals?
No, I think Eagles and Bengals.
Eagles and Bengals would have been the bigger number. They blew that, baby.
Yeah.
I think so. All right, Eagles at Bengals.
I stalled long enough. Hopefully he gets it wrong.
Bengals -5.5.
Ooh, Bengals -2.5.
What?
Victory.
In Cincy?
In Cincinnati, yeah. Basically just, 2.5 has replaced 3, I think, is just the home. I'm with you. I see it how you see it. Ravens at Browns. Tom McCarthy.
Ravens -9.
Yeah.
Sad.
All right.
Jeez. By the way, if I was doing that without knowing it, I would have guessed Ravens -9.5 because I thought it could have been 10, but I didn't think it would be over 10.
Yeah. Titans at Lions. Kevin Kugler, Daryl Johnson on that one.
Oos.
Titans at Lions.
This one I think could be over 10, but I think around 10. Lions -10.5.
Just missed it. -11.5.
What?
11.5.
That's a dumb number. Nobody's ever going to get that. It's an impossible number to get in this game. It's a literally impossible number.
Huge number, man.
10.5 was a great guess.
It's a big reaction.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
There's some big numbers this week.
No, that's a BS line.
All right.
I don't have a problem with it. Cards.
I think I should get credit for that one.
Cards at Miami. Cards at Miami. Tua?
Tua's back. Would the line reflected Tua's
Maybe?
back?
Clearly.
Yes. Dolphins.
Otherwise, I'd be
100.
Dolphins +62.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Miami -3.
Nailed it. Jason Benetti on that call. He's a good dude. Mark Schlereth as well. All right.
What's Mark Schlereth's nickname? Is it
Stink.
Yep. Jets at Patriots. Jets at Patriots. Rodgers with the hammy flaring up this week as well.
Of course he is.
Awful.
He really
really has become a crud.
Yeah.
Really has.
Most people kind of go out not even necessarily gracefully. Their play winds down, but they're more beloved at the end.
Of course.
Not
especially a great player. Most great player. Kobe wasn't the most popular player in the league, but by the end of his career, there was such almost universal adulation for him at the end.
His last game was unreal.
Yeah, didn't he take 60 shots to
Yeah,
get
but it was
60? It was
unreal.
unbelievable. I watched all of it. It was amazing.
It's great.
By the way, incredible. LeBron playing with his kid last night.
How did Bronny do?
Played 3 minutes, and I don't even care if it's rigged. Don't care. The idea that he said this was a goal of mine,
And he did it.
A guy who came in the league 20 years ago played an NBA game with his son for 3 minutes.
Did Bronny get any buckets?
He had 1 rebound. They tried getting him a shot. Bron passed it to him. He missed it.
Yeah, it was a 3. He missed the 3.
But it's crazy. Like, not since the Griffies.
Who were in attendance
They were
last
there.
night.
They were there.
By the way, how about Tatum last night?
By the way, that league has got a big problem. If you have Knicks Celtics opener and it's a 28-point game in the third and you're down 20 after 1, you can't try in the opener, and it's Knicks Celtics, and you can't try.
Yeah, like you should.
It's the opener.
You should hate them.
It's one game. You can't try in
It's
the
a
opener.
rivalry.
Come on.
No, it's not. It's just one
Joke.
of. It's one of 7 months worth of
it's-
games.
It's not consistently good enough product. Jets at Pats. What do you got?
Jets minus 3.5.
Jets minus 7.5.
Excuse me?
That's right. Packers at Buccaneers. Atlanta at Tampa Bay.
Packers minus 3.
I'm sorry.
No.
Falcons at
Yep.
Buccaneers. Falcons at Buccaneers.
Same.
Falcons at Buccaneers. What'd you say?
Falcons minus 3.5.
What'd you say the first
3.
time? Yep.
3.
Got it. That was on me.
That was on us.
That's on me. That's on me. Yeah, you got it was 2.5. Packers.
Should be more with no Mike Evans and no Godwin.
I would
honestly.
agree. I think it's gonna be a long. Yeah.
Are the Falcons gutless again?
Bake don't have Mike Evans. It's a little different.
And
he doesn't.
Godwin.
And Godwin, both. Yeah. Packers at Jaguars in Jacksonville. Jacksonville back home after the 2 games in London.
Packers
Sure, plenty of good seats available for this.
minus.
No, they'll be filled with Packer fans.
Yeah, that's how I went. to
Packers minus 4.
Got it. 4.5.
4. Oh, boy. All right, 5 and 3. How many buys this week?
All. There are no buys.
Buyless?
Buyless. Colts at Texans.
The Jags don't even get a buy after 2 weeks in London?
No, come back and play. Colts at Texans. And Andrew Catalan and a Tiki Barber on the call.
Texans minus. I don't think they're playing well enough for it to be 7.
No.
Vegas zone. Texans minus 5.
Got it. Texans minus 5.5. I think that's too much.
6 and 3, baby.
If they play Flacco.
If they play Flacco, then it's Texans minus 3.5.
Yep. 2.5. 4 o'clock slate. Saints at Chargers.
Gross.
Chris Myers, Mark Sanchez, and Christina Pink. I have never seen that group, I don't think. Mark
We've had
did a couple of our
Sanchez,
games
yes.
last year, but I don't remember that trio. Saints at Chargers.
Chargers minus 7.
Nailed it. Right on it.
Really?
Yep. Okay. Bills at Seattle. Buffalo Bills at Seattle. Weird schedule for Seattle.
Bills.
All flying all over the country.
Bills
Like a
minus.
Big Ten team.
Surprised college football Nate didn't say that.
Me too.
Bills minus 6.
Bills minus 3.
Whoa.
Taking the West Coast into account there.
Panthers at Broncos. Andy Dalton, car accident with his family. Everybody's okay, but being checked out. Canales saying before the injury that it was Andy, we're sticking with Andy. I don't know
Then
now.
Pick up the phone and get Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would welcome it here, but somebody pick up the phone and get Bryce Young.
Ramitz, go trade for him.
Give him a chance. What was the game?
Panthers at Broncos.
I have a feeling this is going to be. Is it like crazy big?
I can't. I've given you. I've
Okay,
given you an olive
give me one.
branch.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Denver's D is suffocating.
Suffocating.
I don't think I can go higher than this, but I'm going to go high, and I might be off by 5 points. Denver minus 7.5.
Denver minus 9.
What? They don't even.
They don't score enough.
Score enough to be favored by
This is
9.
an indication of what's coming for.
I'm 7-5, brah.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Stay locked in. You're fine.
Getting his head.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand that. Chiefs at Raiders.
I'm
Kansas
7-5,
City
brah.
at Raiders. Harlan Green and a Melanie Collins on the Chiefs at Raiders. D-Hop in the mix.
Chiefs minus 7.
Chiefs minus 10.
Well, now you're 7-6.
He's got time. He's fine. 3 left. 1 win and you're safe. Bears at Commies. Bears at Commies. Mr. Zagura.
How are we supposed? We don't know who's playing quarterback for the Commies.
Well, we don't think it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
We don't think it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
We do not think it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Caleb Williams and the Bears minus 3.5.
Minus
say 2.5.
1.5.
Now you're 7-7.
It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna win the Monday Nighters.
So in your head.
Cowboys at Niners. Dallas on Sunday night against Niners. The game of your youth. The most beautiful uniform juxtaposition in the league.
Niners minus 3.
Niners minus 4.5.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
I was real hot.
You were cruising. All right, here you go.
He's got
Last
it covered,
one.
buddy. Got a real
G-Men, not the G-Man, at Steelers. Monday Night Football.
Pukers again on national TV. God bless it.
Steelers minus 3.5.
Steelers minus 6.5.
What?
Oh, I believe that's a 7-9 and a 5-game slumper to end
I
it.
hate that.
Woo!
I hate that.
That's a sign.
There are some wild propositions
9?
on there, Coach.
9?
Yeah, 9. Chiefs 10. Wow. Leo's 11.5.
I was so hot early.
Boy, were you.
That's brutal. All right, we'll do a little, what are we doing? What do we got coming up?
Higher or lower?
Where the heck is, oh, there it is. There's a little higher.
And I've got a printout for you and everything. The G-Man took care of it.
No, the problem is I had 2 score sheets. That was the problem. All right, higher or lower coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Back for another season, your favorite four-legged companion. Year 3, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, the fan club for Dogview membership options. And join today at barkingbackers.com. Time for a little higher or lower, better or worse. Hello, Gibby.
Hi, boys. Go up. From our great friend Pete Prisco. We haven't had one of these. We won't talk about certain teams. We'll just focus on the present.
Petey, what was that? Was that an SNL?
Petey? Wasn't Petey like the
Dumb and Dumber, the bird. I just watched, I watched that like 2 months ago with the boys.
Petey was the bird.
Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Yeah. You sold Petey? Jeez.
Oh.
Holds up, by the way.
By the way, we have another trade.
Oh, let's go.
The Seahawks are sending linebacker Jerome Baker and a 4th-round draft pick to the Titans for linebacker Ernest Jones the fourth.
Pride of the Buckeyes and the Benedictine
Bengals.
Yeah,
Benedictine and Buckeyes. So he started in Miami, so he's in Seattle, so he goes to Tennessee, and then who goes that way?
Ernest Jones the fourth.
Another linebacker.
It's an interesting swap.
And a 4th-round pick.
Swap it up.
All right. From Pete Prisco, Week 8 NFL Power Rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go to number 2, Kev.
Higher or lower?
They have a dynamic offense that continues to roll up big numbers. They need to go find a replacement for the Aiden Hutchinson. Go get Max Crosby. The Detroit Football Lions, per Pete Prisco, are number 2. Should they be higher, lower, or are they just right, Nathaniel?
I like them. I do. I like them. I think that's probably fair. To me, there are 3 teams that are in their own kind of stratosphere, and maybe 2 that are knocking on the door. The 3 would be the Chiefs, and it wouldn't be from the numbers. It would just be they're the Chiefs. They win the Super Bowl, and they have yet to lose. And you would argue that Mahomes is playing some of the, at least statistically speaking, worst football of his career.
You can't. That's just fact. He's never been this bad. Statistically,
yeah. So, and yet they're 6-0. So,
I don't know.
They're pretty good. I like the Lions there. Max Crosby. I mean, I think that would be a wonderful idea. Is that a feasible? Is that a feasible thing? Is that a real thing?
I don't know. People keep bringing it up. I don't know if they're just trying to will it.
I mean,
everybody knows he needs
Eastern
they
Michigan.
need a,
I think
Za'Darius
Za'Darius
would make a lot of sense. And I don't know any idea about Crosby's contract, or is he older than I think?
Yeah, let's pull it up. All right, Max Crosby has a void year in 2027. If they were to trade him post June 1st, it would be $5 million in dead money this year, next year, and 26. Only $15 million in dead money, and they'd save 25. Like, it's capped. So I could see them.
How old is he?
Could be done. He is from the 2019 NFL Draft.
Same age as Miles, then.
6'5", 247.
You're a little younger than Miles.
Yeah.
27.
27.
So he's young. I would think, if you're the Raiders, though, like, you have to keep some pieces.
You got to keep something.
You know, as you rebuild this. Like, if they go draft Shador.
How did they just not take Justin Fields? I just don't get it.
That's crazy.
I don't get it. Him on the turf.
Yeah. It'd been fun.
Next.
Higher or lower?
I'm going to move ahead. The Ravens are number 3. Number 4, according to Pete Prisco, the Lions gave them their first loss of the season in large part because the defense wasn't as good. They have a short turnaround to play Thursday to get things fixed. The Minnesota Vikings are number 4. Should they be higher, lower, or are they just right? Bo Bishop.
I like the 2 teams that are both behind them better.
Preach.
I like the Bills and the Packers both better than Minnesota. I think it's been an awesome story. I think Kevin O'Connell's a hell of a coach. I'm happy for Kwesi, all of that. But I do not think that they are the 4th best team in football, and I would take both the Packers and the Bills ahead of them. Therefore, I would move them down worser than 4 in the league.
Not a word. Nathan.
If you say it emphatically, you can fool people, though.
Fair.
I couldn't agree more. I said Packers and Bills. Look, I have even graphics on here that I've written before you even asked.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Packers are 5. Bills are 6. Texans, number 7. It takes us to number 8. And the Chicago Bears. They come off their bye with a game against a good Washington team, but a team that could be without Jane Daniels. The Bears offense really got it going before the bye, so they have hope. They have to hope it can continue to grow. Pete Prisco has them number 8. Nathan, higher, lower, or just right for Chicago?
I don't know that I'd be ready to have them favored in a big game over the Steelers or the Eagles.
If Jaden Daniels played, I wouldn't have them in favored in a game against Washington.
But I do like them, and their defense is sneaky good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I like this Bears team. I think it's so hard to do it kind of just straight linear ranking, but I think they're in the right bucket because I think after the Texans, that's the next bucket right here with those kind of 4 teams. The Bucs would have been higher. Falcons should be higher, but Kirk is just too much of a streak shooter, I guess, at times. I'm fine with where they are. If Jaden Daniels is healthy, though, I would have the Commanders ahead of them.
How do you feel about this? If you of this next group here, and I agree with you, starting with Chicago, and I think I need to see Houston play and win a game without Nico Collins and look okay because they were bad. CJ was bad last week.
It was bad.
Bears, Commies, Steelers, Eagles, Seahawks. That 5-some there. I think of those 5, with Jaden Daniels out, Pittsburgh and Philly have the highest capabilities of those. So I would have the Bears below for now. I need to see them. I need to see them in a big spot.
Baby. I get it.
Missouri.
I need to see them in a spot. And they're not going to get it against Washington this week. That place, it's in Washington, I believe. That will be a cauldron. That place is going to be nuts because they haven't had wins in so
like
long.
Marcus Mariota could
but
quiet
Mariota,
that crowd
that's
real
it,
quickly.
man. Here's the thing, too, on Daniels. Much of the – and I saw a video going around about this to remind you about it. He took incredible hits at LSU.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep.
Like, he puts his body in harm's way for somebody that's frail.
Was the video you saw the one where it was like kind of Sonic the Hedgehog imagery, wherever you get hit, all the coins would fly out of
No,
it?
I didn't. Somebody do that.
I saw that one, and
he
takes some.
Oh, dude,
There was one where he went like 5 yards back in the air.
He gets bombed.
Yeah.
So he needs to
chill,
figure out how to get down and stop doing that.
You got to chill, baby.
You got to chill.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. In his top 10, there are 5 AFC and 5 NFC. But after that, 11, 12,
all
13,
NFC.
14, 15, 16 are all NFC.
He's devaluing the Chargers a little bit, even off of he's got them all the way down
bad
to
loss.
20. It is, but
bad loss.
All right, so I'll do this.
He's got
Nathan,
the Dolphins
I'll ask
way
you,
too low. The Dolphins, he has 29th.
Oh, yeah.
With Tua, they are not the 29th. And he has the
No.
Bengals 23rd.
Well, there's one that. So he does this a lot. Remember this? He does this by record.
So much.
That's always his thing, is off of record. The Cincinnati Bengals, the 23rd best team
He has
in
the
football.
Bengals behind the Saints. What are we talking
What are we
about?
doing, Pete? Their records. What is he even talking about here? He's got the Bengals behind the Jets.
The Jets, at least you could say they have some people. The Saints, it may as well be us playing.
The Bengals, 3 of their 4 losses are at the very end.
They've won 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Joe
Come on,
Burrow's looking
Yeah.
great.
Come on. What are we doing, Pete? Come on, Pete. Petey.
Where would you put the 49ers, Agura?
I'd put them probably right at 16, and I just wouldn't want to have to play them. But I mean, they're pretty.
You're at the point where it's almost just too much injury to take on.
Yeah, I can tell you this: my dad's not happy. Thought that wasn't good, and only as my dad can. He was not happy that Ayuk got hurt, but certainly blamed him holding out on the fact that he got hurt. Like that was an ACL. I mean.
So much more to come. Oh, come out to Panini's in Brunswick this Thursday, 7 to 8. Kevin Stefanski Show. Stop by and meet Z, Gerard, and DeJuan Jones. It's brought to you by Bud Light. So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be sure to catch the Browns preview show presented by Tostitos tonight, 7 to 8, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Nick Chubb and Andrew Siciliano join Ken and Gerard right here on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I'd be remiss to not mention, because we had so much news, this stunning quarter zip. It's almost breathtaking. It's one of a kindness in the way that it pops.
The great modes. It reminds me, honestly, it is as striking beautiful to me as when we saw Kwesi in that white Vikings one at the Combine, his first year as GM, and we were like, wait a second.
What is that?
What's that all about?
Where'd you get that, bud?
Yeah. By the way, it
wasn't
turns out
like
it was
a Minneapolis designer who did it.
Right, and then he was like, I was told I couldn't wear it anymore.
But didn't they have like a partnership with him or something?
No, I don't think so.
He went
I think
rogue.
It was his own.
Yeah, it was
his own thing.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, it was an attention getter.
Yeah, it certainly was. The next level is coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.